I'm live. Good evening, comic family. It is I, Alfred E. Newman, the voice. Yeah? Which one looks better? Probably the mask, right? So, welcome everybody. I'm live again. This is cool. So, this is the second time I've come on a Sunday night live. So, tonight I'm going to talk about the wrap up of Fan Expo. But first, before I get rolling, I've got to acknowledge Mr. Mark Andrews. He was my wingman at Fan Expo through the whole 4 days, and it just made the experience so much better. You got to go and hang out with somebody that you want to spend time with and that enjoys the same stuff that you do. It just makes the experience that much better. So, thanks, Mark, for hanging out with me and putting up with my insistent chat, especially today when they screwed up my drink order. And instead of giving me my normal French vanilla hot chocolate, they put coffee in it. So I was just jacked right up. So I was just on and on and on. So tonight I'm going to talk about Fan Expo, a little bit about the event itself, the Ghost Machine panel that I attended, signatures, because it was a pretty lofty, uh, signature heavy con for me. So every single day I was on with the con and doing the signatures. It was crazy. And then we'll get to the books and the slab. So let's check out. I don't know if the chat's working. Yeah, there's a live chat, top chat, live chat. Nothing's happening there yet, so that's cool. I'll wait till that gets rolling. And let's see what we got here. Our volume. Yep, we're not muted. Okay, that's good because that happened to me when I was at Fan Expo on the Saturday. I went live and I figured out what I did. So the start of it was fine. You know, when I pressed on the thing, I went live. I was walking around. I was talking. It was fine. It was when I went around some guy there. I must have done something funny with my phone and I hit that icon and I muted myself for a good 10, 15 minutes. The whole time I was talking to Chris, the comic vet. Sorry, man. He was getting a art piece done, or a book done, signed by Art Germ, and he was getting a shameless plug for his channel so that Art Germ would call him out at the beginning of it. So that was kind of funny, but I missed all of that because all the audio was muted. And thanks to my wife, she called me and let me know that my audio was off and to figure it out. And I bleep blop blooped and we figured it out. So that was cool. So I was glad that that functioned again. So what's Fan Expo? Fan Expo, it's like a con anywhere. Toronto has it. I mean, this Fan Expo goes right across the US, comes up to Canada. It's a 4-day event, but it's a little different than the Comic Con because this has the cosplay. It's got celebrities, toys, pops, all kinds of other cool stuff, but not just necessarily comics. So there's multiple ways you can do this. You can have day pass. You can just come in on each one, or you can get a 4-day pass, or you can get the VIP or the Ultimate Fan Pass. So what? We got some people coming in. Legion of Comics. Mark, hi, how are you? Yep, I'm live. I'm doing the weirdness like everybody else does the weirdness, but I'm just doing my thing with it. Fan Expo. Mark and I, we get this one that's called the Ultimate Fan Packs. So we get this one. So that lets us in for all 4 days. What it does for us too, it gives us our own entranceway in that, that we can uh, get in without having to wait in the massive lineups. We get a swag bag, which is this thing here. It's pretty cool. So there's your Fan Expo 2024, and then in the swag bag we get a print, which I put up on the wall. It's right there. So that's the print that we got. It wasn't a big one. There was something else that came in. Yeah, we got a comic book too. It was an exclusive Detective Comics number 27, so Tech 27. So that was the book that we got in our swag bag. We get a coupon for 10% off the store, and we got this weird pop thing that it's Marty McFly, Back to the Future. I thought that was, it's interesting, but not my thing. That'll be something that's getting given away. Yeah, I can sniff out Ghost Machine across the internet. LOL. Yes. So Mark knows when something's Ghost Machines going on, brother. Man, oh man, the weirdness. That's me. I am the weirdness. Yeah, the tech cover. That's really good. Yeah. So I can't bleep blop the messages stuff when people are in the chat. So I'll just say this stuff out loud and then, have a discussion that way. So that's how I'm going to roll with it until I get sophisticated like you, Mark, and some of these other channels where, you guys got the fancy StreamYard and you can acknowledge people and you got names and stuff and you look all official. I'm just doing this, at least for now. So, yeah, this book right here, I put it on here. The entire crew of the Ghost Machine minus two gentlemen were out there. Well, three. I think Rob Lowe, he was another one. Yeah, the whole crew. As you can see with this one, I got it signed 5 times by the crew. So the crew that was there was Jeff Johns, Brad Anderson, Peter Tomasi, Jason Fabok, and Francis Manipul. So those guys were there. Gary Frank and Brad Meltzer could not attend. I think something with Gary was sick, I believe. I'm not 100% on that, but those two couldn't show up. So it was kind of, but that's okay. I mean, five signatures on a book was pretty damn sweet, and I tell you. So I want to talk a little bit about the panel. So during the cons, you can go to these panels and they'll have the groups and they'll sit there and they'll talk about their books and what they're doing with, in this case, Ghost Machine. So I went and sat in on the panel and I was glad I sat in on it. It was really good, very informative. Jeff Johns has got quite the vision for Ghost Machine and what he wants to have out of this property. It is, he's not going to be following a template like DC or Marvel where they have like multiple iterations of characters or resurrections of characters. So the cool thing about Ghost Machine and all the titles that are going with it, you got Geiger, we've got Red Coat. There's going to be Hyde Street coming up. There's a number of titles, and Rook Exodus, another great one. When these stories and these properties, when they're finished with these stories, Jeff Johns says, you know what? It's done. If we kill a character, that character's dead. It's never coming back. It's not going to change. We're not changing, the characters over the years and do weird things with the continuity. These characters are the characters, and they're going to stay this way forever in all multiverses, which is, something that I found really cool. I like that the fact that he's doing it that way, and he's got his own team, and with Image, it's creator owned. So Jason Fabok was saying, across the board, all of the Ghost Machine, all of these guys that I talked about, the creators, they're all sharing in the company. They all own it equally. So if one title that one of the guys is doing is not selling very well, so be it. The other ones can pick up the slack. So the ones that are selling well, no problem, because they own the rights right across the board. They're profit sharing across the board. This is kind of unheard of in the comic community, which is amazing. So, Image is doing it right. And I've said it before, even on Reggie Collect's show too. I boldly stepped up and said, you know what? Image is coming for you, DC and Marvel. I doubt they'll topple Marvel, but you know what? They're really pushing it. I mean, the paper quality is good. The artwork's fantastic and the story is good. And Jason Fabok, he's got his son's input on it, and he wants to make the stories friendly for kids, and he wants to bring the young generation into the books and love this stuff as much as we love this stuff, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, big three. You're absolutely right, Mark. There's no longer the big two, it's the big three. But if DC starts to slipping, I'm thinking that Image is going to fill that void pretty fast because, my polls, and I see other people's polls, I see a lot of Image in there and not a lot of DC. Their prices are jacked up. The paper quality is shit, just like with Marvel. I'm not saying their stories are junk because, they've got the great characters. I love me my Wonder Woman. I still pick that up. I love the Black Label series. You got the John Constantine. that kind of stuff, that's my jam. I like that stuff, and I'm very glad that that's still going, and I will still continue to pick those books up. But the price tag for the quality of the paper, that's what's bothering me, where you can get the cheaper stuff here, but it's quality, so it's fantastic. Yeah. Second wave of books are getting close. I just did a video on Hyde Street that drops tomorrow. Yes, and you were showing in your thumbnail the ash can. Yeah, we after the panel was done, Jeff Johns stayed behind and he gave all of everybody who was in that panel that was sitting in the panel in the audience. He gave everybody a copy of that and he signed it for them. And he stood there and signed every single copy. The other people were waiting to come into that room, and he took the time to stand there and sign everybody's copy and even have a little chat with people. So, I respect what these guys are doing. And, these creators are amazing. They're very approachable. You can sit there and talk to them. I had a blast. Waiting in the lineups was well worth it by the time I got up to see these guys. They had their own little table in the con. Now they also were on the creators road too, where they were charging for whatever, signatures. You could get CGC, you get CBCS, you get raw signatures, whatever, and they were all in a row there. But then they were doing these special events where they would go to the Ghost Machine table that was all set up in one of the booths, and they would do a live sitting there. And if you lined up, you could get everything you wanted that was, related to the Ghost Machine title for free. So no problem. So you just had to wait in the lineup. So I did that for all three out of the 4 days, and I got a stack here. Like I said, that I was very ambitious with my signatures this year. I got disappointed on a few, but see that I had enough to spread out that the other ones definitely made up for it, especially with the Ghost Machine crew, because it was fantastic. Yes, you were absolutely right, Mark. Class act, the whole GM crew, absolutely. And if you see some of my stuff on Instagram that I was posting as the show was going on, I was putting up pictures. Ghost Machine even approached me in Messenger there on IG and wanted me to be a collaborator with them. So, I was going around talking them up like crazy anyway. So it was perfect. So I was collaborating, and they would put all my pictures and stuff up on their channel too. So that was pretty cool. And I enjoyed doing that. It was my genuine pleasure to do stuff like that because of, meeting these guys and how good they were, how gracious they were. We know when Mark Andrews comes on and talks about the stuff that, he was chatting with Jeff Johns, and, and I'm going to let him talk about that. But these guys were a class act to even Mark. He wasn't even in the lineup, and he was just talking to them and saying, how much he enjoyed it and just how gracious these guys were. It was absolutely incredible. So that really made the con for me this year, was having a group like that. And I liked the best part when they were in the panel. Jeff Johns, well, actually, all of them, even Peter Tomasi, they were saying, they said, this is 1963. You're on the ground floor. This is Amazing Spider-Man #1. This is AF-15. Mark feels it. A lot of people, I know that Legion of Comics, I bet you're feeling it too. This is a property to get into, people. These guys are going to do big things. It's going to be great. And if we're in on the ground floor of this, we're going to just sail along with these guys. And it's going to be fantastic. And it really feels like that too, with the quality of the work they're putting out. It's amazing. So so I got a stack of stuff. I didn't, the purchasing side, Mark helped me out spending my money, because that's what he does. But mostly it's signatures. I got a whack of signatures. Now, there was unfortunately a couple of snafus. Scott Snyder only ended up there on the Saturday. And the part that really got me, I was ready to get in the lineup and stuff. They had it beautifully set up where you'd pay and then you'd just get in the lineup after you show them, what books you're going to do. I was all ready to do that. I looked in my bag and I realized I left all of the Scott Snyder books at home. And I thought, oh, no, I'll pick him up on Sunday. And then turns out Sunday he wasn't there. So I missed out on Scott Snyder. I was a little bummed about that, but I got enough of the other guys that I was very happy with, the whole Ghost Machine guys. And Jed McKay was still there too. So you know what? I got a bunch of stuff from Jed McKay. So that was fantastic. Mr. Trev, the shipping guru. He had to come on because he wants to look at his book. He wants to see all those signatures. He is the shipping guru, and then he's going to have to tutor me on how to ship all this stuff down to him. Because, yeah, not only did I get him the ghost machines thing, I'm going to have to tell you guys a story about this when I get to it. We got some swag too. Now they were selling these hats for $45, but I paid nothing for the hat. And again, that'll be the story when I get into it because they had a bunch of exclusives there at the table. This is one of actually they were giving away these books for free. So all weekend long they had stacks of these on a little side table that you could just grab for free. And it was cool because they started throwing ash cans inside of them. So there was one exclusive ash can that they'd actually had no more of. I picked up one of the free books and I had that ash can inside. So I was a little, thrilled to find that. Other people are like, "What the hell, man? You got that exclusive ash can variant that nobody had seen, and they didn't have a lot of them, and it was all signed too." So I was, yes, sir. So this is just the A cover. Got that signed 5 times, which is fantastic. Oh, Trevor, we had a blast. Mark and I, Mark, him and I were doing a lot of digging and stuff, and we would go around and do some of the signatures and that. We had a fantastic time. I ran into Chris, the comic vet, so shout out to Chris. Also, Skeff was there from Skeff's Comics. He was doing his thing, kind of organizing and helping other stuff. I don't think he's been on his channel too much anymore, but he comes out to this fan expo and he helps out a lot. And, he was there. So it was cool. And they were about the only celebrities hanging around, the rest of the time, me. I didn't film a lot. Like normally I'll do like the whole tour of it, but so many people do that tour of walking around the entire con. I decided not to do that yet this year because most of my time was spent either waiting in the lineups or I was digging through books and just hanging out with Mark. Now, if we can get some of these other people up here, like Joe from Anachronic Comics, he talked about coming up here. I said, boy, oh boy, with some of the shenanigans we can get into if he comes up, will be incredible. So yeah, so I got some interesting swag. Like these were pretty cool. So Mr. Andrews helped me out with these. These actually are not old. They're not vintage. They actually came 2011, I think it was. There was a con probably in the States somewhere, and these were one of the promotional things. But I grabbed 2 of them, so it was a deal. So I'm happy to have them, so I can put them up on the wall somewhere, or just wear them because it looks better than I got the face for radio. Yeah, and just a fantastic experience. When I got home today, I was kind of so um, had a little bit of a headache going on, so I had to just I had to chill for a little while. I needed to decompress. I was sitting in my lounge chair upstairs watching some YouTubey stuff, and I actually fell asleep during. I was sitting there, I fell asleep, and I feel a little refreshed now. I got a little nap in me, so things are good. And I figured, when I come on, and I could talk about all this cool stuff. Another fun one. Actually, this is hilarious. I got this signed yesterday, and I forgot to get Peter Tomasi's signature on it because I was watching him doodle on the table because they had this white paper thing on the table. So he started doodling on it. Check out my IG, and you'll see the pictures of the doodles that these guys did on the table. Well, Peter did on the table because he was just sitting there bored. So he started drawing on the table. And I started making fun and laughing and saying, it's like Montana's, because up here in Canada, we have this restaurant called Montana's. It's like a rib place. And they put the brown paper on the table, give you a stack of crayons, and you can sit there and draw. And I love that stuff every time. So this one here, this is a Gotham City exclusive. So we have a comic store up here, and it was one that Chris, the comic vet, and I attended this event when Jason and Mike Ruth were there signing. And this is a Johnny Desjardins cover, and he was at Fan Expo. I'm walking along and I saw his name and I went, holy crap, I got that. And then he had a big picture of this cover, like the original art for this cover sitting there. And I was like, oh, baby. So he was sitting there with his girlfriend and he goes, you want a signature? And I said, yeah, sure. I'll take a signature. So he signed the top of it. And then I got the rest of the team. So this one's got 6 signatures on it. So it's the 5 Ghost Machine guys and then the actual cover artist of it too. So I thought, that's pretty cool. And yeah, Trev, you're going to have a choice because I've got like 4 of these signed. Like this one here is kind of cool because they all did like different colors on it. So there's some gold, there's some silver, there's some black. See, Jeff Johns does his up there, and all the rest of them, and they got different colored signatures on that one. So I'll let you pick, brother, whichever one that you want. It's pretty cool. Um, I got the free one done of the Moon Knight today. This is Jed McKay. He's got his signature in silver at the bottom. So that was pretty neat. I'm going to be focusing a lot on that one, though, because that's really cool. I was so happy that I caught Peter before he left, too, because there was something going on in the airport. They were supposed to have another signing for just a few of them at 1 o'clock today, but it didn't happen. So it was a good thing I went to the table and talked to the guys. So I tell you, man. Yeah, I just keep looking back at the chat. So in the chat function, I cannot post it up here. So I just talk about what's in the chat until I get more sophisticated like you guys and, on the cool channels. But right now, that's just it. You don't have to be jealous of my experience, Trev, man. Like, I'm sure that you guys get cons down there. You guys get even more people than our piddly little one up here. I mean, it was really cool of these guys to come up here, like Larry Hama. There's a bunch of guys that I would love to come down, like Heroes Con, and see the cool stuff. But man, it was such a fun experience. Order streamed crabs. Those are the best places. You just dump it on the wax paper. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a cool way. Getting many signatures as you want. Yeah. You know what? I was happy with it. And this one here, this is going to be an A-OK that I'm going to send out to Gary B, the casual comic guy. I got Jim Zub to personalize it. Gary, this Savage Sword is still sharp. That's what it says on. That's what I got him to sign. And then he did the Jim Zub signature on that one. So I'm going to send this one off. And then, of course, Mark and I collaborated and we said, okay, we got to get Jim Zub to do something weird for Gary. And he remembers Gary. He goes, yeah, Gary's such a sweetheart of a guy. And he went inside the book and he hid a little thing that he put inside the book. So now Gary's got to go on another mad hunt. But this time it's not the back cover, Gary. It is not the back cover. It's inside the book. So you're going to have to flip through pages and pages. And he did it in pen, so it's going to be really hard to see. So we'll probably see a live of Gary losing his marbles as he tries to go through the book over and over and over again, trying to figure out where Jim Zub put the secret message inside for him. So yeah, that was great. Then I went, so I'm kind of going back in a chronological order. So those were the books that I got done later. Actually, no, this was the first day. Yeah, the first day, the Thursday, I got this one done right away because there were some of the artists on Artist Alley, and I jumped on it right away to get them done. Because if you guys saw my last live stream, the stack of frickin' books that I had was ambitious. Unfortunately, like I said, a lot of them didn't work out. I was really bummed out about Scott Snyder. The other ones I could, take it or leave it. The X-Men books I didn't necessarily have to get done because I'm just going to sell those books anyway. And what they wanted for some of the signatures, like that, I brought the first Sinister 221, and the lady started changing the prices. She goes, "Oh, that book's going to cost you $30 to get signed." And I'm looking right at the thing, and it says $15 for raw signatures. And then she's jacking it up because it's a key issue. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I just walked away. Because stuff like that irritates me, when they see it's a key book and they think, oh yeah, let's monopolize on it. The first Jubilee probably would have been the same thing, 244. If I brought that book out, she probably would have said, oh no, that one's going to cost you $40, right? Because of whatever significance. So, and I'm like, you know what? That's fine. I'm walking away. But hey, you got to take it, right? So I got Johnny Desjarn. That was the surprise. Jim Zub, Jed McKay, and then all of the guys from the Ghost Machine. So I'm happy with those signatures. I grabbed Doctor Strange because I love what Jim Zub or Jed McKay has been doing on this one. So got him to sign that one. And since that one finished, I got him to sign the last issue as well. So we got the first and the last issue of Doctor Strange. Now he was doing the first one for free, and then he was charging like $10. So I don't mind paying these guys, for their creations and their signatures and stuff. It's fine. I get my free one, and then I do that. So and then I got my Avengers #1, and then the Moon Knight. So I got the 4 books done. So because I really love this Avengers series, like it's a solid read, great story, great artwork. Man, I love that stuff. Yeah, this was one of the uh, this is the ash can for Ghost Machine that I picked up. I saw some signed ones today, but I wasn't going to be an a-hole and say, hey, can I have one of the ones that was signed by the whole team on the ash can? But Mr. Andrews got himself something really cool, which again, I'll let him show that stuff. Uh, so let's keep going back in time. So the other day, when the whole team was sitting at the table, I got my Geiger. Which one is this? Let's go in order here. So this is number 5 of Geiger. This was the first series. This is the cameo appearance of Junkyard Joe. So it's just the 2 guys. So Jeff Johns and Brad Anderson. He's the colorist. Those 2 guys were there at the table. So I got both of them to sign it. I wish Gary Frank was there because he's the cover. So he did the covers of these books. And, well, there's next year or another con somewhere I might, find these guys. And then this is the first appearance of Junkyard Joe in Geiger number 6. And we got the 2 signatures on that book too. So that was a nice little bonus besides the gazillion of ghost machines. All right. So I showed you the one ghost machine. Oh, this one has got a little bit different color too. One of them did it in silver on the top. So it's another ghost machine and another ghost machine. That one's all signed up by everybody. And yet another ghost machine all signed up. So you know what? I think since I've got extra copies of this book all signed by all 5 guys, I'm going to keep one for myself. One's going to Trev. I'm going to ship one off to let's do Rob Fatstacks, right? Because he's got the Comics Curing Cancer, and he can raffle off one of the books with the 5 signatures. I think that'll be cool. So, Mr. Fatstacks, I'll probably send you a package. I'll figure out, some other stuff to go with it, but that one's pretty cool, and I love me my ash cans. Now, the big book for me to grab at this event too, when I saw it, because I saw Jason Fabok was promoting this one on his Instagram page, is this beautiful gold foily. So Tina, this is a Tina alert, Tina full alert, the gold foily. So they were charging $50 for this one. When I got up to the table, there was a guy ahead of me. He had $100 bill and he was buying 2 of them, but their machine was up. I had, I think, $60 on me, but they're all 20. So the guy didn't have change. So he says, okay, hang on, we'll get the machine, the debit machine thing going. Then they had problems. They couldn't figure out this debit machine that wasn't working properly. And then they figured, okay, we can do it on Visa. All right. And I said, okay. So I tapped it on Visa. Next thing you know, I see the charge for it. It came up as American dollars. So it was 50 US, not Canadian, which is, it was supposed to be Canadian, $50. So it was charging me like $70 for it. So, but I didn't notice right away. It wasn't until later. And then the next day I came back and I said, hey, you guys overcharged me for this stuff. And they're like, oh crap. Sorry. We'll fix it. And they sent us to the guru who she knew how to do the bleep, blop, bloop, 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 bloop thing and fix it. And then says, oh, if you got cash, just give me the cash. Right. And she goes, oh, just give me $40. So I gave her $40 in cash. She refunded me my money that was screwed up from the American side of things. So I ended up with this book for $40. And then the day before, while I was at the table and I'd been waiting so long, and the guy was like, oh, I'm sorry. You waited so long. Here, have a $45 hat for free. And I said, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I got the hat for free and I got $10 off of this and now I got all the signatures on it too. So of course I waited at the table and I got, what was it? Just the 3 of them. Yeah. So this would be Fabok, Jeff Johns and Brad Anderson on this one. But man, what a frickin', I mean, this cover just rocks. I tell you, shiny foily goodness. And the quality is great on it. They had metal covers too, but they were I think they were $135 for the metal covers. They were down to 25 of those. And then if you bought the dinner package, because you go to dinner with these guys too, there was this whole tickets you could buy for like 700 and change, and you can go out to dinner with all these guys, and you got the metal covers, which was pretty cool. There was like 3 different variants of these metal covers, and I was like, wow. Yeah, Trev, and you think the hat rocks. Well, when it comes to your hands, you'll be able to wear this all the time on your live streams and stuff. Because I know you like the beanies and stuff, but maybe you can switch out. Because see, this does not. This face is not good for hats. As soon as I put the hat on, wife's looking at me going, "No." So yeah, so I'll be sending that down to Texas way, and you can enjoy that. Here is a cool Geiger Ground Zero, and it's signed by Jeff Johns and Brad Anderson. So another wonderful little ash can, and that's the oddball one that I found inside of one of the Ghost Machine books that was sitting at the table, and it was one of the variants, exclusive ones, and they didn't have any more of them. So like people were asking, going, "Hey, can I get one of those ash can books?" And they said, "No, we don't have any of them left," which was cool. And after being at the panel, Mark, Legion of Comics, this was the book that he was posting up on his channel because he's doing a review of Hyde Street. Yeah, at the panel we were, and then there's this on the back, the Devour. This is going to be a one shot, and they're going to drop this around Halloween. It looks freaking cool. But the Hyde Street, man, uh, let's give you a little taste. I know Mark's going to do it. I don't want to do a full on thing here because I don't want to jam up Mark because he's doing his thing with Legion of Comics. But man, phenomenal and signed. So Jeff Johns, like I said, he took the time after the panel to sign each one, hand it to everybody individually as they came up. And what a gentleman. I love stuff like that. So got the exclusive Geiger, I got the Hyde, and I got the Ghost Machine. So these ones signed. You know what? This is a goal for next year now. So if these guys come back, I'll get this thing signed. Maybe get a remark, something like that. I don't know. So that was pretty cool. So because if you guys know me, I'm a sucker for ash cans. I love my ash cans. Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, Trev, no problem, brother. No problem. So this is the Geiger. This was the old series. Yeah, the number one. Again, Jeff Johns, Anderson signed on that one. And then we have the new ongoing series of Geiger. I got him to sign that. Yeah, I had just had a stack. That's why in one of the posts that I did, I was like apologizing to Jeff Johns. I said, "Man, your arm's going to be sore, brother, from all the books that I had." And then there were people, all kinds of people behind me who were also had stacks of books. So I got the Geiger ongoing series. Yep, that's the ongoing series. That's the new one. Again, double signed on that one. And the bummer was the first day that I was getting the signatures and stuff, and Mark Andrews was standing right there, and I did not get a lot of pictures. I was like, shit, because I like to get my pictures to put in the back of the books, and I was missing a bunch of the pictures. But the second day, I was more on point, and I had all the books organized, put them all on the table, and I was getting my pictures. It's just Francis Manipul. Somehow he managed to. That guy was fast. Like he'd take the book, and then off. I didn't even get a shot of him once. I got everybody else in the pictures, but Francis, the guy was too fast. So I ended up taking another shot of him. He was signing the guy next to me. He was signing a poster and stuff. I posted that on IG as well. So I'll probably use that picture and put it in the back of the book because I like to have all the creators in the back. It's nice if it was actually signing my books at the time, but I was all caught up in the FOMO, the starstruck because you got all these guys right in front of you. You can sit there and yap with them. And again, very gracious gentlemen. So I enjoyed. I even grabbed one of my red coats. I had two of these, but I left one in my bag because I didn't want to end up having too many on the table. I already had tons of them laying on the table to get signed. I was going to get 2 copies of this one signed, but I just got the one instead because there was a bunch of the variants from that signing at Gotham Central Comics. There was a deal where you got the 4 different books, and I showed you the one Johnny Desjardins cover. There was also this one here, which was done by Mike Ruth, and he was also at the signing that day. So I got the 2 of them to sign it, and it's limited to 500. And then, of course, I thought I would bring this to the Fan Expo, and I'd get the rest of the team on it. So then I've got Jeff Johns and Anderson as well on this one. So this one's now 4 times signed. And I actually even had it personalized in the corner to Steve from Mike Ruth. And he was at Fan Expo too. So I could have got other signatures again, but you know what? That's just perfectly fine. Yeah. So yeah, signature heavy, heavy. Menzo, what do you say there? Canadian Survivalist is on here now. Mezzo Action Figures, April pre-order Ghost Machine. Oh man, new rabbit holes, eh? Yeah. Oh, and this was the Rook cover. That was still the Ghost Machine, but that was Jason Fabok's cover, and I had him sign that one at that meeting. So I just kind of bypassed him. And I told him, I said, "Sorry, Jason, I already met you. I already got you to sign a whole bunch of these books. So I'm just like bypassing you and going directly to the rest of the team because we'd already done it before." I said you could pretend to sit there and sign it, and I could take a picture of you, but he just laughed and said, "No, it's all good, man. It's all good." Because I'm sure all their arms were sore afterwards. It's like writing lines. And then this was another one. This is just the A cover of Rook Exodus. And then again, got the whole team to sign and then had him do it from before because he did it in the white. I was going to bring a white Sharpie and have everybody else do it in white. But you know what? The artists, I like them to do their own things. So some's in silver, some in white, some in black. Adds a little contrast to it. So, that's not bad. Though. A little bit of contrast. It's a good thing. That's okay. And that is the massive stack of signed books. So I didn't even count them. I've got so much stuff here now. Like I said, this was the end of the con that wrapped it up today. I got home. I just kind of piled everything on the desk for the live tonight and just said, you know what? I'm just going to decompress, relax for a little bit, then come back and I can kind of enjoy this stuff and talk about it and my experiences at the con. So that was my whole Ghost Machine experience, and that went on, and the signatures went on for the entire 4 days. So the Thursday we get in 2 hours early before everybody else, which was great. There was still, a significant number of people. Most were waiting in the lineup to get their swag bags, but I don't know why people freak out over that because there was plenty for everybody. And like I said, there's not a lot in the swag bag this year. Last year was a little better, but this year, not a whole lot of stuff. I guess, budget cuts, they're cutting back. But Trev can appreciate this one. I had 4 books left. We're doing The Tower with Evil Mike on his channel. We were reviewing all of the Stephen King Dark Tower books, the novels. And now we're going to go and do the comic books. So the comic books comprised of 19 titles. Of course, 19, that's what he loves. And I have almost all of them except I'm missing 4 books, and this is one of them that I found. I was digging and digging and digging. This one place, I don't know, this my spidey sense was tingling. I said, "Steve, just keep it up." And I looked over and I saw one of the little folder things up there. It said Stephen King Dark Tower, and it was thick. There was a lot in there, and I was like, "Oh, please be in there, please be in there." And I'm seeing like the other issues, and I'm going, "Come on, come on, come on, give me my 4 books." I needed Bitter Medicine 3 and 4, and I needed The Sailor 1 and 5, and then this one's issue 1. So now I'm down to 3 books. So I'm getting close. So I'm calling that a W. That's a victory. I got at least the 1 book. Those other 3, that's everybody who collects, everybody who knows and collects. It's a patience game, right? You gotta be patient when you're hunting for books, right? Yeah, I got this. I should just turn that off now. I just wanted to make sure that everything was working up there. There we go. Get rid of the little blue crap in the corner because I got the light from my television in the corner. I had myself playing so I can see that things are working. And yes, I did some digging. Mark was helping me spend some money. The first one that I picked up was a Toronto Comic Con exclusive of Transformers #1. That's a nice foily cover. So that was pretty cool. I think it even says on the back it's a Fan Expo. Yep, it's got Fan Expo on the back. But yeah, more shiny alert. I had to grab this one up. It's because I'm loving the Transformers series. I mean, it's my childhood. G.I. Joe, Transformers, Thundercats, all that stuff's back. And I'm just digging it. I love it. So more foily goodness, Tina. So that was kind of it wasn't the big purchases of the show because I got a slab. I found a slab and I didn't even have Mr. Andrews to try and help me. I found it all on my own. I made my deal with it and I couldn't pass up on the price. The grade isn't the number that I want, but the price I couldn't pass up. And there was a couple of guys I was digging through, and I found some really cool stuff. This is, the horror EC. I'm an EC guy. I love my EC. You can see from the Alfred E. Newman mask. These are reprints. So these were done sometimes in the 80s or 90s, but the covers are just incredible. So this is Crime Suspense Stories number 24, I believe it is. Yep. With old George there, he's got the axe with the maniacal look on his face, and he's going to chop up old Freddy that he killed and threw in the bathtub there. He's going to dismember him. So, classic covers. The OG books of these dope comics. Yeah, dope. I'm talking to you, brother. I know you just showed this stuff not too long ago. You just did an episode on it. And I thought, oh man, dope. I just picked up these books. Not the OGs. You got the OGs. I'm very jealous of that. But you know what? For $5, I could not pass that up. Another one that you've shown on your channel before, dope. I love this one too. Tales from the Crypt. This is number 30. Got that werewolf dude. Man. And these are crispy. Another one that's a classic is The Vault of Horror number 24. Yeah, old Frankie there doesn't want the wifey poo anymore. Got her a casket for Christmas, and he's lining up with the axe, and looks like he's a baseball player, and he's ready to swing for the fences, baby. Swinging for the fences. And then a weird fantasy number 22. Just like the cover, so I just want to round it out, give the guy a 20 and take the he's even got it on the back here, Ron's Comic Book Room. Oh, he's Toronto too, Scarborough. Hey, that's cool. I like when they do that, like old school. They used to stamp back in the 80s. They would stamp, and this guy still does it. Stamps on the back of the backing board the comic book store, which I thought was pretty neat. Here's another one. This one was also I picked out of the Stephen King when I was looking at the Dark Tower ones. And Trev, I don't think it's anybody's seen this one, but I was looking at the side of it, and it says right here, not for resale. So this one is not for resale. Well, it's supposed to be that way because I was upside down. So it says not for resale. So I think this is one of them situations where this book was supposed to be a promotional and it was never supposed to be sold to anybody because there's no price tag or nothing on here. See, it's got 0 US and 0 Canadian on there. And I was flipping through it, and it's pretty cool. It goes back to 2004, 2007, somewhere around there. It's when the books were first coming out. So I thought that one was pretty cool. And, grabbing it for $5, I saw it in the shelf there, and I went, okay, I remember Mike talking about something like this. So I had to snag it. Yeah. Yeah, I think Mike was talking about this one, the not for resale books. So when I saw it in there, I'm like, snag. That was a no-brainer between the Sailor number 1 and this one. Boom, grabbed it. It's the Detective Comics 27 again. That was the one that was in our swag bag. And of course, me again, Transformers. I'm slowly getting, this was cheap. It was like, what did I pay? $6 for this one? Number 68. These are the harder ones to find, these higher issues, and in newsstand. It's not the greatest. There's a lot of spine ticks on it. Somebody loved it. It's got some problems with the cover, but hey, it's there. 68. I got no problem with that. I don't mind worn out books that, people love. They like the stories. I'm cool with it. And another one that was whittling off my list too. I didn't find a lot of these, but this was the only one I found. Number 49, Grimm's Ghost Stories. Pretty beat up, but $3. Sure, $3 all day long. I'll grab these. And it's gold key. So these are getting harder and harder to find. It's all wrinkly and beat up, but it's intact. There's no chunks out of it. It's just, loved. Somebody read it. Somebody loved it. And I think that brings me down to 5. I'm going to say 5 more. And I'll have the full run of ghost stories. Some of them are in Whitman's. That's fine. But all right, and we're down to one of the last piles here. So I got some $2 books too that I grabbed. There was a guy that was from Pennsylvania, and he had like $2 books and stuff. And it was, oh man, I was asking these vendors how much they were spending or how much it cost for a booth. And it was like $1,700 for an 8x10 for the weekend, for the 4 days. And then one of the bigger guys there, I didn't ask my old LCS, but one of the big guys, he was in the middle of the floor. He had a lot of comics out there. I said, what did they charge you for it? And he says $20,000 Canadian. And Mark and I were talking with him, and he just broke even when he finished Saturday. So Sunday was going to be his profit. And I'm like thinking, wow. So you worked your ass off for 3 days for Fan Expo, and Sunday was your only day to make profit, and it's the quietest day. And that's the day that everybody wants deals. So I grabbed a couple of bucks off him. This was one of the $2 finds, Transformers, Terminator. I found a Lock and Key for $2. And this one was the best one for $2 was Wonder Woman 750. I mean, because this is a thick book. It's almost like a trade. So for $2, I don't mind digging through those $2. They just didn't come in bags and boards. It's the no frills. That's the no frills section. So I was happy with that. Now we're going to get on to the things that I like. Well, that's all the stuff that I like, but the G.I. Joe stuff. So everything, actually, all of these, I think maybe one, all the G.I. Joes that I picked up were all newsstands. So they were all to fill out because I'm going through the whole G.I. Joe series, getting direct editions and newsstands. So I picked up 58, got a newsie on that one. And some of these are really nice, like really high grade books too. So I was happy about that. Number 90. Got some. What the hell? I forget that character. I see him blanking on the characters. He's one of the Dreadnoughts. Number 110, Saw Viper. Newsstand. It's harder to get anything above 100. Trying to get those on the newsstands. That's the tricky stuff, right? That's right. Cobra, la, 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 la. Or Yo Joe. So the guy that was spending the $20,000, I picked up this one. And it's crispy nice. Number 63, Snake Eyes and Scarlet walking through a minefield. Going to pretend to get themselves blown up so that they can go rescue a couple of Joes that were taken to some gulag in some made-up country that doesn't exist. That's another one I picked up from that same guy. Number 64. Again, newsstand, really crisp. That was when the Baroness confirmed that the Cobra Commander was back, and it wasn't. It was Fred 7. Spoiler. Hiding in the armor, and the Baroness knew what Cobra Commander looked like in reality. And then I picked up number 70. Old Wild Bill there getting the gun to his head, land this damn plane. This one's not as nice. It's got some wear. It's a little dirty on the cover, but again, it's ticking off my list of newsstands. So I made a nice dent in my newsstands. And then today, digging through some more dollar books, I found some of these cool ones. It's just fun covers. Terror Incorporated, number 3. This was at one of the booths that we were talking to the gentleman, and he said he was paying $1,700 for the 4 days. So, we like to help these guys out when we can. And, for $1, these are dollar books, but it's got the thicker backing boards, and it comes in a bag. Like, he probably spent like most of his money on the backing board and the bags, and the books are in really good shape. And then, of course, Mr. Andrews is digging through and goes, "Oh, Steve, you were talking about Alien Worlds and you needed some of the other ones, but you can't pass this up for $5. Like, look at that cover. I love these Alien Worlds. I have the 2 Dave Stevens books, and I don't have the rest of them. There's 9 in the whole series. So I've got number 2 and 4. Those are the 2 Dave Stevens covers. So this is which one is this? 5? Yeah, so I've got 2, 4, 5, and then he found another one. And again, these are clean. This one's number 8. This one they changed the publisher. They went from PC to Eclipse, and then the next issue was number 9. Like, that's pretty cool. Look at that alien dude shooting old Freddy in the back. In war, it don't matter. We gonna plug you. Yes, it is awesome. I've freaking had a fantastic time. And then the big deal that I made. It's a key book. Of course, it's a G.I. Joe book. I actually saw this book there last year, and the guy wanted a little too much for it at the time. Wasn't really negotiating. That was, a little bit more of a boom going on. Get her out of that plastic so we can look at her. It's a 9.0. It's still okay. It's 9. It's what I wanted. Well, I want like 9, 9.2, 9.4, 9.6 were my range. So this is GI Joe number 14, first appearance of Destro and Ace, and first Destro on the cover too, in a 9.0. Now the price he had on the back of this was $85, and he was doing a promotion where he was taking 25% off, so that knocked it down to like 63 and change. And he says, "Yeah, just give me $60." So a key newsstand slab for $60 up here in Canada. There's my brother, dope. I was just talking about you earlier, man, and I was showing some freaking cool books that I picked up. I'll flip back through them here in a second. So there you go, dope. I got some nice Alien Worlds, clean copies, man. These are clean, and I got me some EC goodness, my brother. EC goodness. This was the big one, but they're reprints. But hey, it's okay. We like, there's nothing wrong with reprints, and I'm with you, dope, man. I don't mind a beat up cover. I don't mind beat up books. When I get into my ghost stories, because I got my Grimm's ghost stories. This thing is beat to crap, but I don't care. Like, it still presents well, and the Mylar looks freaking phenomenal. It's all wrinkly and runkly and stuff. The stories aren't the great, but I love the painted artwork on the covers of these things. Man, the book is just fantastic. So yeah, let's dig back through here. Let's get back to them. Where are they? Oh, here we are. EC goodness and dope. They were the books that you were showing off. So we'll get back to the ones there with old Freddie there taking out his wifey poo. And I picked these up for $5, man. So he's swinging for the fence, gonna nail, and he's got the coffin already there. To Lucy or whoever it is. Merry Christmas. Ba-bam. That one. And then I'm with you, brother, on this one. The werewolf cover with the Tales of the Crypt. Again, reprints. I don't care. $5, man. And it's minty. And this guy had all kinds of these books, man. So I was grabbing them. So why the hell not, right? Yeah, first Dreadnoughts. I got that one. That's up. I got that one up here. First Dreadnoughts. Yeah, they're cooler when they're well loved. Damn right, they're cooler. And then this is another one you were showing, dope, because you got the OG of this one, baby. Old Charlie there, man. He's got the axe, got that maniac look in his eyes, man. He's going to chop up Buddy in the tub. Crime Suspense number 24. Again, minty. I don't care if these are reprints. I remember they reprinted them in the 90s, I think it was. And these ones are clean copies. You got the OG stuff, brother, but that's cool that you got the slab, and then you also got a beat up copy that you can sit there and read, and you can thumb through that one. You don't give a shit because you got the slab sitting there, and then you got your floppy, and that's me with these. So eventually I'll get the books. And then the last one I just grabbed because I just thought it was a neat cover, and I wanted to round it out, give the guy a $20 bill, and call it done. Weird Fantasy. I'm still looking for that one, the Weird Science number 16. That's the one I need, the one that's got Mad on the inside cover. It's got the advertisement. It was the first appearance of the Mad number 1. That's the one I'm looking for, number 16. It's a pricey book too, but one of these days, I don't even give a shit. I get a beat up copy. I'll take a beat to shit copy, no problem. Just so long as I got that one and I got it in with the rest of the Mad collection, eh? Yeah, these things have as much dialogue as a new modern trade. Yeah, this is when they put the stories in there, and the books are a little thicker. They actually got a story to it, man. Yep, early 90s. Yeah, those are great. You got the reprints, man. Nothing wrong with the reprints, right? So if you get them slabbed and stuff, and you can still read them, because every single slab that I got up on my walls, I have a floppy of every single book. Because 7,800 and something books, almost 8,000 books in my collection. They're all floppies. I read my books. I read. I love the stories in it. I love the artwork, like with the ghost stories. Love me my horror. I love my action books. This Ghost Machine stuff is just phenomenal. I can't get enough of this. It is a golden age for us right now. It's amazing. And if you guys are getting in on that Ghost Machine, man, buy that stuff. Buy it up right now while you're on the ground floor. It's just like what Jeff Johns said, man. It's 1963. ASM is on the shelves, brothers. Go grab it right now. So, yeah. Yep. Boom, 60 bones. I couldn't send it in Canada. I can't even send this shit off for that. If I have my book and I get it clean pressed and submitted to CGC and back, I'm at $100. Bam, right off the bat because of our stupid shipping across this goddamn wall of ours down to the US. So whenever I can grab up these slabs up here cheap, I grab them up. 9.0, it's not really the grade. I was trying to get like 9.2 was like my minimum. I was like my bottom, but you know what? I couldn't pass it up for that money. $60. It's the first appearance of Destro, first appearance of Ace, and he's on the cover. So yeah. Yeah, I'd like the new modern EC comics, one original story reprint in every book. Yeah, that in each book, that would be a freaking great idea. If they take some of the old stuff from back in the day, throw it in there, and then maybe if some of these guys read that shit, they might say, "Hey, maybe we can come up with some stories like that." I see where they're trying to go with the epitaphs of the Abyss, and then that other sciencey book one that they're doing. They're trying, but they're not there yet. Okay, they got to get. It's like you said on your show, Dope Man. They got to get some better freaking writers on this stuff. I don't know who the hell. I was reading all these writers. I'm like, who the fuck are these guys? I don't know who are these people. You know, so that's cross the fingers, cross the toes, and hope to God that they sort themselves out. But I gotta say, man, the covers were phenomenal. I'm with you on that, Dope Man. The cover was great. The first splash page, the freaking artwork was great. And then you go to the next page and you're like, what the hell's this shit? It just went right off the cliff. Right off the cliff. So they were doing great. And then that's it. Done. All right. So oh, yeah. And my buddy came by. I just missed him. Fred, I'm going to do a shout out to you, brother. This is my car portion of the show. He was down at Woodward Dream Cruise in Detroit. And he brought me back shirt from the Dodge. It's the new Dodge Charger, the Banshee. They got an electric car. They're going to put a gas engine in it, though. So he was at this one called Hemi Insanity because, I like me my Hemis. Because I'm a Dodge Hemi driving, comic book collecting, loving my horror kind of guy. So, Fred, thank you for the shirt. I didn't go to the Dream Cruise this year. It's kind of sucking because they moved the parking lot. They had a beautiful parking lot up in Pontiac, right on the top of the loop. So it was where all the action was. It was beautiful, man. You'd sit there all day having your cold back neck drinks and just bending the elbow all day, checking out beautiful rides and sucking exhaust fumes. Great way to spend a weekend. Millions of people descend on that city. But they said, the cops were really bad this year. They were nailing everybody. Anybody doing little chirps on the street, you were done. So it's just kind of losing its fun. My stepdad just picked up a new ice blue 67 RS Camaro convertible. Damn dope. Shit, that's a sweet ride, baby. Sweet. With the top down. When the top goes down, the price goes up. That's what they used to say at the dealership, going in there, getting your rag top. I had myself a rag top. Up here in Canada, it's not really a good idea. A lot of snow up here. But yeah, so that is my recap of Fan Expo, the hall, seeing the Ghost Machine guys. Oh, absolutely made my show. Mr. Andrews, thank you so much for hanging out with me, brother. My wingman, because when the two of us are hanging out together, sometimes we can make some good deals and the guys will cut us some deals. So that's what you got to do. You got to have a wingman when you're going in these things to make some deals. Although with this one, it was pretty cool. The guy it was awesome. 25% off and then cut it down even more. So that is beautiful. So holy shit, I'm almost at the hour mark. All right. Oh man, I've been on my vacation and these last 4 days is just like being at the Dream Cruise for me, man. I was just in heaven. I didn't even go to the North Building. So in the Toronto Convention Center, it's two buildings. There's a South Building and the North Building. Didn't even touch the North Building. I stayed in the South Building. That's where the comic creators were. That's where the books were. That's where I hung out. So coming up for me tomorrow, I'm going to post another video of me just thumbing through some of my short boxes and long boxes and just going through my collection, discovering some of the gems. And then I'll start putting them up on the walls too when I see some of these covers that I'd forgotten about. Wednesday, I'm going to hang out with you, Trev. Get on your channel again because I'm still on vacation. Got another week. Do my voices choices when I go to my LCS and pick up some stuff. And that'll be it for me for the week. I'm just going to, I got to start doing the honey-do list and get doing the stuff around the house. So, you know, yeah, that's right, Trev. You got to have a wingman when you go to these shows. You want to have somebody that you can hang out with that's going to help you out. I've done it before when with Wayne, Squirrel Madness Comics, when he was on. Him and I, we made some deals too, so it was good. So thank you guys for all coming out in the chat. Like I said, I can't bloop bloop bloop, but I just kind of talk to you guys in the chat. I think that works out just fine until I figure out this whole YouTube live stuff. This is only my third one. My second one was a disaster on my mobile device because I muted myself. That was pretty funny. You guys go back and suddenly the volume turns off. It was right past one of the artists for the X-Men there. I walked past him and I clicked it. But then my wife phoned me and I sorted it out. So so thank you guys for coming out and watching my live and me showing off all the shameless stuff here that I got. Very successful con. Can't wait for next year. Hopefully, Joe, some of you guys can make it up. We have a Comic-Con in the spring that's pretty good. That's in March, so that's cool. And then August, we got this show. So, yeah, take care, Trev. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate it, brother. And Dope, you too, Canadian Survivalist, just a few of you guys that were on here. Thanks for coming out and bleeping in the chat. That's cool. And I will see you guys on the next time. So, take care.